Good evening. This is Wally Robertson and Richard Moriarty of C-Suite Speaks, and we are honored to have with us Andy Roth, a senior executive of exemplary capabilities, with whom we'd like to speak about what's brought him to his success. Andy, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Virginia, moved to Texas, Kentucky, New Jersey, North Carolina, Delaware, California, Rhode Island, been quite a few different places.
You've been asked that question before.
I have. I moved here for family reasons, personal reasons that just wound up landing me originally in Fayetteville in North Carolina, where I worked for SRI International, having done a lot of years doing Navy things to actually work with the Army building battlefield communication systems. And then moved from Fayetteville up to Raleigh, where I worked with Fujitsu, and was there for a number of years, and have gone from Fujitsu to GT Government Systems and Techlec, and then a short stint working clinical trials, doing software development and IT, and then most recently at Dude Solutions.
So how did you get in the position that you're in now?
Well, as I said, I've been a software developer. I've been an analyst. From there, I had the opportunity to actually run a couple of IT organizations. Spent almost 15 years at Techlec, which combined all of those, where I was running software development groups and then in charge of the infrastructure for the entire engineering organization. As I said, a small stint at a clinical trials company where I had all of R&D and IT. And now at the Dude, as technology operations director, for me, this is kind of a dream job, because I have the opportunity to take all of those capabilities and all of those things that I've done and bring it to a company that's at a real transition point, and we're essentially rebuilding it from the inside out. Very exciting. Change management is clearly the biggest one. When there are a lot of things that have to occur for a company to go from a small bootstrapped business to one that is funded with outside capital and has to grow in depth and rigor that is typical of a large company. There's a lot of change management. I feel very lucky to be in a company where everybody seems to get it, and there's a tremendous air of respect, and so that is a lot easier than it would be at other companies. Plus, we have offshore development, and there are challenges there, and we're moving from traditional waterfall development to agile development. So there's a lot of plates spinning, and trying to do everything I can to help everyone else be successful. Those are the things. Every day is a different task, and it's very exciting.
That's what makes it interesting to do.
It is. I'd be bored doing the same thing every day.
So to what would you attribute your success?
I would attribute it to a couple of things. The first one, without a doubt, is that I have had some absolutely amazing mentors in my career. People who were open and honest enough to tell me where I needed to fix something, and who were kind enough to encourage me when I was doing something right. The first was the late Admiral Mike Borda, who was my first commanding officer at sea. Taught me more about leadership in 18 months than anybody has in my entire lifetime. And there have been so many others on the way. One, there was a general manager at Techlec who just had the one simple line, always be open to the possibilities. And it's one of those things that make you realize that it's very easy to get closed-minded and focused on what you're doing. And if you take the time to listen and look for what is available around you, it makes a huge difference. I would much rather be surrounded by people smarter than myself so I can also continually learn. And that's really the other piece, is that being a lifelong learner means that you don't get stuck in a rut. Personal goals, most important to me, are to be a good husband and father. That's probably the most important thing to me. Professionally, I guess I have a real bent to want to serve. So to be in a role where I can make a difference. I would sum it all up to say someday I'd like my epitaph to read, "He left it better than he found it."
Yeah, that's great.
The key things to which you would attribute your success would be having mentors, keeping your mind open to possibilities,
Yes.
and expecting them to come from elsewhere, not just your own mind.
Correct.
And finally, what was the third one?
Lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning. Thank you.
And another fun part of the job I've got, which makes it a blessing for me, is that when I got there, the HR department said on their bucket list had been having yoga classes at work. So I get a chance to do that twice a week, which has other benefits because it gets me out of my office and the opportunity to meet people around the building in different disciplines in a setting that isn't just about work. And so it paints a much bigger picture and is a much richer experience.
Right.
My biggest advice would be take a service attitude, and that encompasses many things. One, it's be open to listening, to be open to learning, and realize that the success that comes from us doesn't come from just what we do. So by helping others, you pay it forward and you get that back. So if nothing else, I think if people take that kind of an attitude, it certainly changes the character of an organization.
Good.
Plus, I guess the other things you mentioned, the mentors, keeping an open mind,
It all blends together, yes.
and continue to learn.
And practice yoga.
That helps a great deal.
There you go.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. This is Wally Robertson and Richard Moriarty saying thank you very much for attending. Hope you found this interesting. Good night.